Tanishka, how are you?
Hi, Urmi. I am good. Thank you for having me in your channel today.
Yes, it's such a pleasure having you here with me on my channel. And I invited you because I came across your channel a couple of weeks ago and I saw that you're also pursuing the CFA designation. I know you're based in India. So maybe let's start off by you telling us who you are, what you do, and when did you start your journey with the CFA program?
Okay, that who you are question I think always scares me whenever someone asks me. I'm like, okay, who am I? Because I think in reality we all are just discovering ourselves as am I. But to cut it short, I am currently a full-time content creator with the intention of helping out young professionals because I feel like when I was in my early 20s or late 19s, there were a lot of things that were roaming in my head that possibly didn't need to. There were questions. So I basically help those students out. Very simple motive, honest conversations, real growth. That's exactly what that channel is about. Apart from that, I also share my daily lifestyle on that channel. And when it comes to CFA, I have completed 2 levels. I'm on to the third one. So I'm appearing for CFA Level 3 this year, August 2024. And yeah, I think I started my CFA journey 7 years back. It's quite a long journey, to be honest. But there were 4 COVID deferrals because in India, I think COVID had hit very bad when I had my CFA Level 2. Then because of the fiasco that happened with my CFA Level 3, I also decided to take a break. So basically, that's what I do. Other than that, I'm also a freelance business operations strategist. And I
Nice.
love to have another YouTube channel in case anybody wants to check it out.
Nice. So, focusing more on your journey with the CFA program, did you have always a finance background before you decided to embark on the CFA journey, or do you come from a different background?
So in India, actually, most people, I don't know if this is a known thing, people start their CFA journey pretty early. So I started mine when I was in 2017, I think. And at that time, the rule was you needed to be in your final year to start. Obviously, now the eligibility has been eased out. So I was from an accounting background. I wouldn't say like a core finance background because accounting and finance, it's not very heavy on finance. And I think people have that misconception. But I was always from an accounting and finance background in terms of what I was studying. I was never really working before I started CFA because I was still in college, so I didn't know it. And that's when CFA came into the picture.
Okay, and what made you start with this CFA journey? Like, do you have a particular goal in mind?
So it's actually very funny, and everybody, if anybody comes here from my channel, they will vouch for it because we have a video on this. I started because when you were in college, like when I was in college, people are naive and you're not very sure what to do, and there's so many options. So I just copied what I felt the extremely smart people in class were going ahead with. And I had the misconception that if I do CFA, I'll become a millionaire. None of that happened yet. So honestly, that's why I started. There was a slight finance goal as well that I really wanted to understand the financial world a little bit. And that point, the goal was more of stock market. Again, it didn't really align, but that was the thought process I had. Being very, that was literally the reason I started CFA.
And when did you take level 1?
2018, December 2018.
Okay, and level 2?
2021 November.
Okay, yes, I know it was a long lockdown, yeah.
So I was supposed to give it 2020 June because at that time CFA used to happen only once a year for level 2 and level. I'm talking about that period, but unfortunately my 2020 exam didn't happen, so it all.
Yeah, it was a worldwide thing. Like even in Canada, I kept getting postponed. Me too. I was supposed to give level 2, I think in June 2020, and they kept postponing it. And you're like, okay, are we ever gonna write this exam? So yeah, it's a little bit mentally exhausting. It was mentally exhausting. Yeah.
Great.
So I want to ask you a little bit about your study methods for the CFA level 1 and level 2 as well as level 3. Maybe something in general, what is the approach that you took to study for each of the level? Were they the same? Did you tailor your study approach based on the level that you're taking, or it was just something more uniform?
I think for level 1 and level 2, I followed a pretty similar approach. The only customizations I think I did was in subject sequence. particularly, but the approach I pretty much followed was I'm a person who doesn't really like reading too much. Like I feel like it's not my best skill. I prefer, either somebody talking to me and explaining things to me or reading as less as possible. So I enrolled for a class for level 2. For level 1, I followed YouTube videos. Please don't go to those playlists. They are not applicable for the current syllabus, but there was a Mark Milgram playlist for level 1 at that point of time. To follow that. So my process is very simple. I would first attend the lecture or watch the video, like whatever format it is. Then I would read through the Schwezer notes. So Kalpan Schwezer is pretty famous in India. I don't know if out of India people are using it as well. I would do that because I just needed more concise things as much as possible. Then I would solve all the blue box questions from Schwezer itself, like the inside material questions. The end of chapter questions of Schwezer, I know a lot of people say like it's very easy. I still would do it because it would barely take like 15 minutes maximum. And it was just like good to like, give you a confidence boost. But after that, I would spend a good amount of time solving the end of chapter questions from the CFAI curriculum notes. So I didn't read from those notes, but I used their questions to practice. And that's how I completed one chapter, and I did that. So I used to take a lot of time in my first detailed reading. If people took like 2 days to do one chapter, I would be taking 1 week. But I was okay with that because I knew that this was building up to me only doing one revision towards the end. And that's literally what I did in the last 20-25 days. I only had to revise it once because my first detailed reading was so strong. So by the time I came to revision, all I had to do was just, go through my own notes, go through formulas. I wouldn't even really need to read the book again. I would either just watch the video recording or go through my notes, and then I would solve the candidate resource questions. So I'm a very strong believer that as the exam approaches, like the last 20 days, 30 days, you should use only institute practice material.
Yes. For the materials that you have used, you said you used the Mark Milgram materials, you used Schwezer. And what lectures did you buy? Like you said you were watching like videos, like if you signed up to a course, which one was it?
So there's this teacher based out of Mumbai. He used to take offline then, but now he's online, offline both. It's Manish Shivamuka. So I used to go to him.
Okay, I don't know. I'm thinking.
Yeah, so when I started, like in 2019 end is when I started his classes. It used to be offline, but then I think COVID introduced the world to Zoom, like we are connecting today. So now he has like classes all over because of his online reach as well. So now I have shifted completely online with him. But at that time I started.
And how many hours did you study? Like for instance, like in total, how many hours did you put and how many hours would you study like on a day?
Okay, so again, this is unconventional. I actually never counted my hours and I still don't. I think I find that a very wrong approach on a personal level. I'm not against anybody who's done it, but I just feel like I am that kind of a person that I set a goal for myself that, okay, this week I have to complete this. And then I hold myself accountable for it. So whether I complete it staying up all just one night and doing it in one day, or whether I stay awake all 7 days, that becomes my personal problem. So that's how I followed it. I never really bothered counting the number of hours as long as I meet those goals. One thing that I can tell you in terms of time measurement is how many months I took. For level 1, I took so around 5.5 months. I started in July 1 and my exam was December 2 or 3. I can't remember. And for level 2, I don't know if it's fair to say, but I took 2 years because of the postponements.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say for level 2, 8 to 9 months is what it took me if I remove all the deferrals.
Yeah, I get it. I also did not count my hours, honestly. Like I know a lot of people have an actual calendar where they keep track of the number of hours they put. Like I can tell you on average how much I was doing per day and per week, but I was never like putting, okay, today I've done like 3 hours, tomorrow like I'm gonna do 4, let's say. Like I was never doing that. I think it was like a little bit like you. I had a goal in mind. I wanted to more focus on the quality rather than the number of hours I was putting. So yeah, like it's unconventional, but I think a lot of people like don't really care about the hours. I know that the institute recommends like 300 hours, 350, but like I don't know if I reached that. I'm pretty sure I went way above that. But yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's more about, practicing, making sure you hit the goal and so forth. Yeah.
People just add that amount of stress. Like the institute had to put it, because when you're joining something, you should have a rough idea of how much time it's going to take you. And I think the institute never puts these many years. They always speak in terms of hours, even if we talk about the work experience. But I think otherwise, if I tell somebody that, oh, you need to study for like 400 hours, that automatically just scares you. What if I study for 299? If I don't, so I feel like I don't like that stress.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like you said, it's like a pressure. It's like, oh my gosh, I have not hit the 300 hours. What am I gonna do now? Yeah. So I know you, you passed level 1 and level 2, and you are planning to write level 3. Among the 3 of them, which one did you enjoy the most?
Level 2.
Level 2? Okay.
Yeah. Again, I think I'm very weird. I don't know why my sir, Manish sir, also keeps telling me that, people are most petrified of level 2. And I'm like, yeah, but somehow I enjoyed it the most.
But you know what? I feel the same too.
Exactly. I feel like for me, it was maybe because I shifted to like Manish sir, and I think I understood, because his teaching style, like not a promotion or something, but maybe, I don't know, sometimes you just connect with the person. So the way he taught me, I think I learned way more than what I ever did in level 1. So a lot of my level 1 concepts got cleared in level 2. So maybe that was just like a, mind switch that, oh my God, this is interesting. Because honestly, I was planning to leave after level 1. I was not finding that interest. So something changed in level 2, I would say.
I do think level 2 is the most interesting one, even though, yes, it's true, it's the hardest one, but like I think you get so much out of it because you really have to understand everything in a much deeper level than level 1. So no, I think I also feel the same too. I think level 2 was probably the most interesting one, but I also think it's because I put a lot more hours than level 1. So
yeah. I think that's also, actually that might also be the case, because the deferrals led to giving us that much time.
Yeah. So I do want to focus a little bit on level 3. I know you had a setback, so maybe like, and I know you speak about this on your YouTube channel. Do you want to maybe share a little bit about like what was your experience with that and how you're tackling that for people that, they want to stay motivated and they don't want to give up?
Okay, so I attempted level 3 twice, and unfortunately both were not great attempts. For the first one, I would say it was completely my fault. It was like there was no luck factor. It was completely like it was all on me. And the reasons I think I have failed if I put it out is, number 1, after level 2, because people keep saying level 2 is the hardest, level 2 is the hardest. There was overconfidence. Like, it's good to be confident, but it's not good to be overconfident. I was like, okay, if I can do level 2, why will I not be able to do level 3? And that was the mindset I started with. And I took around 7 months in hand. So I registered in like end of Jan, or early Feb, and my exam was August end. And it so happened that, first of all, I'm not somebody who studies very fast. Like, I take some time to study. Level 3 is heavy on theory, which is again not my personal skill. I should have checked these things. And at that time, I was offered a freelancing project, like start of March, which honestly I hadn't planned to take, because I'm not somebody who's very good at managing work and study. So I decided that if I'm giving it like less time, then I would just finish level 3 and not do anything else. But this came my way, and honestly the money lured me. So I was like, okay, it's just a matter of 2 months, let's go ahead, without realizing that 2 months means we'll reach April almost, right?
Yeah.
Then it so happened that, unfortunately, at that time I was also diagnosed with spinal arthritis. So like a lot of external factors kind of pointed out. Then it was the first time after COVID that my sister, who stays in the UK, we hadn't seen her after her marriage for like almost 2 years because of COVID. So she came down at that time because the borders had just opened up. Then we also went to visit her because we just got our visa, and you have to use your visa as well. You can't just let it go to waste. So all those factors contributed in such a way that I couldn't give the amount of time or the dedication that I could. So honestly, I was sure that I'm not going to clear it. Should I have deferred my exam? Yes, my mistake. Maybe I was like, let's try. But I think it's okay. You learn. The second time around, I gave my exam again in a span of 6 months. But I registered in November and my exam was in Feb. 3 months, because I thought that, okay, I've studied it. And I honestly did study, but I think at that point, I don't know what it was, maybe luck. So if this was the passing line, the minimum passing line, I was actually standing here the second time. So it was very, very unfortunate. So yeah, that went wrong. And honestly, after that, I decided to give it a break of 1 year, over a year, actually, 1.5 years. And very consciously, because I feel like level 3, you've studied it, you'll know, it is very heavy on theory. It actually, syllabus wise or content wise, it's easier than level 1 and level 2 if you go to look at it. But the way they ask you the questions is what makes it difficult in level 3, right? And you really, really need to have a very calm and alert mind, presence of mind, to be able to catch that and solve it and, complete it on time. And I realized, because of, failing back to back, and there was a lot of things happening in my own life, that I'm losing my presence of mind and I'm not able to give it. And I knew it, if I would have given it then, I wouldn't have passed. So I took a year and a half. I spent time on growing myself, my professional work, my content work. I think that's also the time my channel came up. And now is when I actually registered for the exam. And May 14th was the deadline, May 14, 2024. I was too scared, everybody knows. And I was so, pet, because I think you just fail and that fear comes that, what if you fail again? But I've literally registered on May 10th. And I think my only advice would be is, if you are planning to give CFA, and if you want to give CFA, unless, at some point your mind gets over it and you don't want to do it, but if you want to give it, the only one skill you need is perseverance, because that exam is going to test every cell in your body, every point of patience in your body. And that's why it is so great and it is so reputed. The content is not difficult. It is the level of dedication and the level of I'm going to fall but I'm going to get up is what makes that exam so reputed in the market. So that's my only tip. Be dedicated. Keep one reason in your mind that I want to do it for this. And keep that reason always. So even in your lowest of days, just remind yourself of that one reason. It could be as petty as, I want to make my parents proud. That's it. That will help you go through. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically going back to your why you started with this journey. Like that's how you stay motivated and keep going. I know for level 3, I know a lot of people say level 3 is much easier, but I don't think it should be really underestimated, because it's like you said, you come up from level 2 and you're like, okay, I passed the worst. But honestly, you should not take it lightly with level 3, because it's yes, I don't want to say the materials are like easier. I think it's how they ask you the question that makes it much harder. Like, you can study as many hours as you want, but then if you're not answering what they're asking you, there is no way you're passing the exam, even if you have put like 1,000 hours. So you really have to make sure that you understand the question and answer what they're asking you. Follow the command words, because otherwise there is no way you're passing it. Yeah.
And I think from level 1 to level 3, I mean, it's my observation, might be wrong, but in level 1, there are still a certain level of direct questions. At level 2, it decreases. And I think in level 3, there are like barely 1 or 2 direct questions. It will always be some application based, or, something where you're having to use the concept and they'll give you a situation and figure it out.
Yeah. I agree. So it's another different kind of beast, I would say.
Kind of hard.
Yeah. All right, Tanishka. So that was it for our conversation. You have shared a lot of information about your experience with the CFA, and hopefully, you passed the exam for the last level. So I really hope you do well. However, before we go, I have 5 rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Just don't ask me any questions from the CFA.
No, don't worry. They're easy, don't worry. Let me see. Okay, the first question is your all-time favorite Bollywood actor or actress.
Why did you have to ask? This is too difficult, but okay, I'll just say Shah Rukh Khan currently. It's very obvious because I'm just obsessed with his personality. And it's my goal in life to meet Shah Rukh Khan one day.
Yay! Me too, I hope to meet him one day.
Doesn't like Shah Rukh Khan, I think, so Shah Rukh Khan.
Second question, the most valuable financial lesson you learned.
If you don't do it, you'll never know it.
Okay.
If you compare yourself, like even if it's a stock market trade, no matter how much you study it theoretically, till you don't get your foot in the water, you're not gonna know it.
Okay. Third question, best career advice you have ever received?
Oh, it's from my mom actually, that if somebody is finding you worthy of something, it's your job to prove them right.
Nice, I like that. um, Fourth question, since you're so much into Bollywood and movies, if you had to name your name with a movie title, what would it be?
If I had to, I'm sorry, I lost you.
If you had to name your life, or if you had to give it a title, what would it be? Like if you had to give like a movie title to your life.
That could be actually.
Don't think too much.
I don't. So difficult. You said it was easy.
It is easy. Okay, you can just come up with something. It doesn't have to be a real movie.
I don't know actually. Maybe Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. This is very random. It's just my favorite movie, but I don't think that's the title. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't believe I don't know this. I'll go and comment it below. I'm gonna think of this answer, and whenever this video is out, I'm gonna comment it below because I want it to be like such a good answer.
Fair enough. And last question, best snack to eat while studying?
I don't eat while studying actually. I'm very weird. But yeah, because I feel like I need to concentrate on one thing. I'm just very weird. But I don't know if you've had it. There's this Milo drink that comes in the Tetra Pak. It's pretty like good.
Okay. Well, like I eat like crazy.
Or salted any form.
Okay.
Any form of chips that also works.
Fair enough. All right, Tanishka, thank you so much for being here with me today. Before we go, can you tell us where people can find you?
People can find me on YouTube under the name TrulyTanishka. I am also on Instagram, Truly_Tanishka and TrulyTani.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And I will put all the information in the description below, and I wish you all the best.